Now, Mike, what I'm doing is sending the on this camera on the speed. Let's see if it should work. So right now, I'm trying to be Mark SLB.
All righty.
Hey, we did it. I'll be gone. You're right there.
Yeah, well, greetings. Glad to be here. Thank you, Aaron.
Oh, you're so awesome, Mark. You're so great energy. How you doing, Mark?
I'm doing great. Are you ready to rock and roll?
Where are you located right now? I'm curious. Where you at right now?
Las Vegas, Nevada.
Great place to be if you got money.
Well, I don't gamble. I only bet on sure things. So everything up. Did you hear me okay?
Yeah, like my volume cut out for a second. I do now.
Okay, very good. Excellent. Yeah, I'm in Las Vegas, and this is where we spent some time. I'm working on the new Teaching of Talking 2.0. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about what's on your mind.
Well, let me introduce the show. Let's go and start.
All right.
In 3, 2, 1, action.
Jeez.
What? Welcome to the Stroke Talk Show. I'm your host, Aaron Avila. It is my pleasure and honor to introduce a man to me that has been inspirational in my stroke survival. SLP, speech language pathologist Mark Ittleman. Introduce yourself, Mark.
Well, I'm glad to be here, Aaron. We've known each other a long time, haven't we?
Yeah.
I'm a speech language pathologist. I've been doing this for over 45 years. My specialty is in adult neurological speech difficulties. And I've worked in some of the best rehab hospitals in the country. And now I'm writing programs to help people with aphasia. And we teach the caregiver or a loved one at home techniques that will help the person with aphasia talk, because quite often they just don't get enough therapy. But we'll talk about all that a little later. So I want to just make sure that we have enough time to share with your audience some of the wonderful things that are out there, and some of the interesting concepts that will help anyone who's had a stroke or aphasia speak better and get more of what they want out of their life.
I'm curious, Mark, how did you get into being SLP? How did you get into it?
Well, I wanted to go into the theater originally, okay? And I got dramatic scholarships. But after about a year in the theater, I decided that really wasn't really what I wanted. And so I met a mentor, and who was very, very instrumental in my life. And I believe that all of us need to have a mentor, because this mentor helped me change the beliefs that I had about myself. I was a poor student. The only thing I really did well was I did dramatics really, really well, but I was a very poor student. And so he befriended me for about 2 years and constantly helped me change my beliefs about myself, because I had very, very limited beliefs about myself. I thought all I could do was act, and if I couldn't act, there was nothing else in the world that I could do. So he helped change that, and then he said, well, since you love talking so much and speaking so much, why don't you go into speech pathology? So if it wasn't for him, and changing my beliefs about myself and instilling in me confidence and commitment and focus, I would have never been where I am today, because I went to the University of Miami in 1968, and I made up my mind then that I was going to be a good student. I made a commitment then that I was going to be on the dean's list. Now, all I did for the most part was study in college, while everybody else was smoking pot and going to marches and everything like that. I was in the library studying, and that's still where I spend most of my days. So that's just a little bit about me, and a little bit about how we need mentors. We need teachers. We need somebody to talk with us. You know, Zig Ziglar was a famous motivational person. I don't know if many people know about the guy, but Zig Ziglar was a famous personal development lecturer. And he used to say, you got to get rid of that stinking thinking. Okay? And it's the stinking thinking that gets everybody in trouble, because stinking thinking leads to a belief. And if you have a belief about something, guess what? All of your behavior reflects that. My behavior was, I was a poor student. The only thing I could do was act. And then I went into acting and I found out I didn't like it. I had no idea what to do. Okay? I thought that was all I could do. But this mentor helped me change my beliefs. He told me, hey, you can do anything you want to do. You can achieve anything you want to do. Within reason, within your capacity, within your capability. And you know, a lot of people with aphasia, they go to the doctor. And the doctor says, well, you know, I don't know how much you recover, or recovery's going to be real slow, or you're never going to talk again, or you're never going to achieve very much. And what happens is that goes into the mind, and the person goes, oh, I guess I'm not going to make much progress. And then they're thinking about that over and over and over again. And before long, they don't really believe they're going to make much progress, so they aren't very motivated to make much progress. But what would happen if we were to develop this idea? This idea is, what's preventing me from being all I can be? What's the idea that I have in my mind that's preventing me from being everything that I can be? Is there an idea there? Mine was, you're a lousy student. The only thing you can do is act. So I never performed well in school. I always thought I was a lousy student. You know what my father used to say? Every time we'd be in the car going to the gas station to fill up his tank, he'd roll down the window, and this guy would come to the window to pump the gas, and he'd have a leather tie. He'd have a leather bow tie and a hat, okay? And the guy would ask my father, what do you want? My father said, fill it up. So the guy would go around the back of the car and fill up. My father would say, now listen, Mark, you know, you could own a gas station someday. So I always thought all I was going to be capable of was owning a gas station. And then I went to school, and the teachers said I was a dummy. So I fulfilled that prophecy. It was a self-fulfilling prophecy. Until I met a mentor who said, you don't have to think that way. You can change any belief that you have. you can change any belief that you have. Once you change the belief that you have, you can make amazing progress. Like, for instance, I know you have trouble sleeping, okay? I had trouble sleeping, all right? So I was taking, sleeping pills because I was so jacked up during the day. Because you can tell I'm a very passionate person. And so I'd be working online until like 11 or 12 o'clock. And then I couldn't get to sleep because I was so jacked up. I'm jacked up all the time, okay? So then I got to reach for a sleeping pill to go to bed. And then when I wake up in the morning, I was groggy, And so a couple of weeks ago, I went, this has got to stop. I don't want to do this anymore, okay? I don't want to take anything that's going to affect my brain. I don't want to take anything that's going to affect my performance. All right? So I decided right then and there, I was going to be in bed every night at 9 o'clock sharp. 9 o'clock sharp, okay? That I was going to quit working at 7. I was going to turn the computer off at 7 o'clock. I was going to dim the lights in my house. And now I'm sleeping. Hey, last night I slept 8 hours. It's like a miracle, okay? Because you change what you're thinking. Before I thought I couldn't sleep, I have trouble sleeping. The only way I could go to sleep is by taking a pill, And I knew that wasn't a good idea. I knew it wasn't a good idea, but I kept doing it. And that's one of the problems that many people have, including myself, and everybody in the world has these kind of problems. They have these beliefs about certain things that prevents them from moving forward. Now, people with aphasia, man, they've got some real stinking beliefs. That they can't talk, that they can't do this, that they can't work. Things. They have these stinking thinking that they can't do things, beliefs, and that keeps them from moving forward. And you know who puts those beliefs there? A lot of doctors and a lot of inexperienced therapists who they don't mean to do it, but occasionally they may say something like, oh, you're never going to get better, or it'll take you your whole life to get better, And then they take that idea, and then that's it. Or, I can't afford it. That's another one, okay? But we can always afford what we have to have. Like, for instance, if I asked you if I could borrow $1,000, Aaron, okay, what would you say to me?
I can't afford it.
Okay. Now, if I said to you, hey, Aaron, I've got this lottery ticket, and it'll pay you $1 million, okay? It'll pay you $1 million. You want to buy it for me? You want to buy it from me? $1,000, okay?
I did it.
You see what I mean, Jelly Bean?
Yeah.
Okay, so I help people talk again, but what I'm talking about today is a whole totally different aspect of the work, because you can't change anything. Even if I was the best therapist, which probably I am one of the best, you could go to the best therapist, you could go have the best method of speech therapy, but if you have it in your brain, if somebody told you that you're never really going to talk again very well, then what's going to happen is that's going to affect your performance, and you probably wouldn't seek out a mentor or an expert speech pathologist or anything like that, because people have implanted these lousy beliefs in your head, and they prevent you from having what you want. You see what I mean?
Yep. I agree with it. I'm a big advocate of what you're saying.
Okay. So when a person talks, they'll say certain things. And they're telling you what their beliefs are. Okay? Once you know what a person's beliefs are, then you know how they're going to perform.
Mm-hmm.
You understand that?
Yeah, totally.
Because a belief, a person's whole world and their behavior reflect the belief. And so if a person has a belief that they're not smart, or they have brain damage, or their memory isn't good, guess what? That'll definitely show up. Now, if you can change the belief, and you can also learn, okay, to change like your memory, okay, you can change it. But as long as a person walks around and says, oh, you know, I have a stroke brain, okay, and, you know, that's causing me to have these problems, then more problems will come because that's the fixed belief. Okay? So belief is a tremendous aspect of any type of change work. And we all know that people with aphasia, they have lots to change. Their walking, their talking, their ability to move their bodies, so many areas. And that's why it's so important to have the mind right. It's not just, yeah, I want to, yeah, I'm motivated, yeah, I want to do it. But you got to dig underneath that, because the beliefs underneath that are even more important than what you say you want. You could say, I want to do X, Y, Z, but if underneath there are a set of beliefs that are limiting, then whatever the desire is won't happen.
Whatever the belief is. See, Mark, it's funny to me, what you're saying is so true. What you're saying applies to both stroke and non-stroke people.
Yes.
I am learning. I had a mentor. He died probably about 4 months ago from a stroke. But he was a law of attraction enthusiast. And he always told me, we become what we think about. What we believe, we become.
Exactly.
And so many times within the stroke community, there's a belief within the aphasia community, I cannot talk well.
Yeah.
I'll always be this way.
Yeah, there is. And it really bugs me because there are specific techniques that are really, really good to help people recover speaking. And they're not many of them are out there. Okay? Not many of them are really out there. And, you know, I think what happens in the stroke community a lot is that there's...
I'm live, Glenn.
We can hardly hear you.
Me or Aaron?
Me.
Are you sure it's you? Or is it me?
Yeah. I hear you fine, just go. I just love it. Just
Okay.
go.
So what I think, and this is exactly what you just said, Aaron, that in the aphasia community, there's always a bunch of excuses. I can't talk, 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 I can't talk. Here, to get one of these talking machines, get an AAC device, get a talker for a machine to talk for you, you know? And there isn't the idea in the aphasia community that you can really talk again. There isn't. I'm like one of the only person that says, look, many can talk again. But see, one of the reasons why many don't, because it's the mindset that is established in the aphasia community that I can't talk, okay? Or it's cognitive therapy that you need if you have aphasia. Cognitive therapy that does not address speaking. You got that? Okay. Every human being is forgetful. Okay? But people with aphasia quite often think they're forgetful, and they're very forgetful. So what they learn in any type of therapy quite often disappears and you forget it. That's why I train caregivers to use my methods, to use the methods of a speech pathologist with 45 years of experience. I teach caregivers to be like me, God forbid. Okay? Okay? I teach them to do therapy. And when a person with aphasia has stimulation, like we give them, that helps them talk, and a loved one helps them at home 8, 12 hours a day, stimulating 100, 200, 300 phrases a day, words a day, phrases a day, words a day, then they're going to get better. But they're not going to get better if they go to speech therapy for 45 minutes once or twice a week. Because we forget so easily.
So what you're saying is that the family helps, is critical in bringing the aphasia speech ability.
Yeah, the family needs to learn, okay, what an expert speech pathologist knows, and they need to be trained. Okay, just like a mentor. Okay? And then they can do that. And if it's easy and if it's fun, it's not sitting down with flashcards. It's not sitting down with worksheets. That's the traditional approach that doesn't work. It's about talking. And it's about talking at home. Now, there's something called the immersion method, that if you want to learn a language, go to France and speak nothing else but French, instead of going to high school and learning it in a high school class that meets a couple of times a week. You're not going to learn a language that way. You have to be immersed in it. And that's why I believe that a person can be immersed in speech and language at home all through the day. Now, people don't have to spend $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $10,000, $20,000 going to an aphasia intensive program, because an intensive program lasts a couple of weeks, a week, maybe 2 weeks, maybe a month. But then the person with aphasia goes home. And you know, most often, even those intensive programs do not teach the family what to do. So if you're going to do anything and do it well, you have to do it every day, throughout the day.
And that's why your program is so unique.
Yes. Now, there are some people I see who don't have families. So you might say to me, well, Mark, what do you do in cases where a person doesn't have a family? Okay, well, what you got to do is what we do is we videotape many of the visits that we work with people who have aphasia, who don't have somebody, okay? And we figure out a way for them to improve. But in most cases, they need a live model. In most cases, they need a live model. They need somebody to talk to. You know, so it's like if you want to learn how to swim, guess what? You got to have water. If you're going to learn to walk, guess what? You got to have the ground. If you're going to talk, guess what? You got to have somebody to talk to. That's how you improve talking. Duh, hello?
I know, it sounds so easy.
It's practical and it's common sense. And sometimes some people have it and some people don't. Okay?
You know, Mark, I want to touch a little bit about this subject because I've been doing this for years too.
Doing what?
I've been helping stroke survivors.
Okay.
And the common thread is they believe they cannot recover. They believe, I myself have been told by a medical doctor, I plateaued at 12 months. I'll never walk again. I was told this. And so many times, what we believe, that is our seeding, it's our belief system. It's what we believe. If we believe we could talk, we would talk.
Well, if we believe we could talk, we do something about it, okay?
Right.
Because it's not going to happen just out of the sky. It's not going to come down in a cloud, okay? If you believe that you're going to talk, you have to get with somebody who's going to show you how to talk. But just saying, oh, I'm going to talk, that's not going to do it because you have to have, once you have the belief, then you have to find out, well, what is it that I have to do? What are the actions that I have to do every day to make this happen? Okay? And those actions must be a multitude of actions. Okay? You can't do it a quarter of the way. You can't do it a third of the way. You can't do it 2/3 of the way. You're either in or you're out. You're either committed or you're not committed. If you have a serious speech difficulty, you need somebody to know what they're doing, and then you need to commit to that with almost every ounce of your energy. And place it in the order of importance in your life. Okay? Now, we also have a subconscious order of importance. There are certain things in our life that we hold important. The ones that are up at the top, we think about a lot. Now, the ones that that we kind of like to do, they're not at the top. They're kind of down here. They're kind of like, who was it? There was a fairy who slept with a pearl under her pillow or something like that. There's a famous fable about that. But there's a bunch of layers of what we hold important. There are layers of things, okay?
Okay.
And often, because of our beliefs, the things we don't think we can do drop in the level of importance until we don't even think about them anymore.
So could this be subconscious meaning? I say I want to walk,
Yeah,
but I don't do my physical therapy.
you don't do it.
So I'm tricking myself.
Yeah,
I know myself basically.
yeah. You know you should, but you don't. Because you have something more important to do. What is it?
Helping stroke survivors on Be Online.
Okay.
My show, whatever.
Okay. So that's an example. In fact, your show is more important than your walking. And you put your time into your show. More time ever than you would put it now. What would happen if you decided that you were going to quit your show for a while, and the energy and time that you put into your show, you were going to put into your walking?
I'd be walking.
Okay? So that's called the hierarchy of importance. We have a level. We have a checklist that's in our mind. And sometimes we go, I don't understand why I don't understand why I don't walk more. Okay? But quite often we don't really realize that it's other things. We don't even know what those other things are that are more important. Now we just identified one for you, that your show has been more important to you than your walking. So you're not putting in the time.
So how do you, if you realize this, how do you do it? How do you change that?
Okay. What you do is you go, well, what's the new belief I'd like to have? Identify it right now. What's the new belief?
Walk.
That's not enough. What do you mean you want to walk? You want to walk more every day?
I will walk. How about that?
No, because that's out in the future. Like, I will become an astronaut someday. Okay? When you do something like that, there's no time frame on it. It's not like saying, I have a show to do tomorrow, and I have to be with Mark Ittleman at 11 o'clock. Okay? So you have a very specific idea and a very specific belief then. You see? So you have to have that kind of, like, I walk. I walk every day. I walk every day between 5 and 6 a.m., 7 days a week. Okay? And my goal is to walk a mile within 3 months. And then my goal is to walk 2 miles within 6 months or something like that. But if you just say, oh, I want to walk, ain't good enough, because you have to send the directives to the brain. You have to go, first of all, I want to walk. And then the next question is, if I did want to walk, what would I be doing immediately today?
You sound like my wife. She does. She
Wait a minute, answer the question. If you wanted to walk and walk better, what would you do today?
practice. I'd practice.
Not good enough. It's not specific. I practice. Practice what?
I practice walking my walker
Where?
in the hallway.
How far?
20 feet at a time, and I'm gonna walk. I want to.
How
I get,
long? You see what I mean? The brain needs the specifics. It doesn't mean it doesn't need the pie in the sky.
so, how does this apply to our aphasia and people like me with this dysarthria?
Same
How does it?
thing. Same thing. Why haven't you addressed it? Why haven't you addressed your dysarthria? You talk about it on your show. You say, I didn't sleep, I'm tired, okay? So you have to excuse me for my speech today if you have trouble understanding me, okay? You follow me? Okay? So you say, how does it apply? It's the same as you're walking. You're putting other priorities in front of it, like your show, okay? But I'm not here to criticize you. I'm just here to point this out to you so that you can say, maybe I can change this.
Wow. You know, my mentor before he died, Roland Tacoca, said, what we believe will make reality. If we believe we will not be able to accomplish something, we will not be. Henry Ford, there's a quote I love of Henry Ford. It says, whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, both are right.
Okay. So what do you want to believe about your walking?
I can walk.
Well, I know you can, and so do you. But that's not good enough.
But you're asking me, Mike.
I'm asking you to be specific, Aaron.
What do you exactly?
I can walk, and within 6 months, I'm going to walk a friggin' mile. Okay? Or whatever it is that's practical for you. But just saying I can walk doesn't mean anything. Or saying I can talk, that doesn't mean anything. How specifically do you want to talk? How specifically do you want to walk? How far do you walk? How fast do you want to walk? Do you see? All of these parameters, you need to get very clear on exactly what you want and exactly what you're going to do every day to make it happen.
If this would apply to someone, I know numerous stroke survivors from around the world that have aphasia.
Okay.
They seem to stay at that one place. They never seem to. I talk to them. They don't believe they can get better.
Well, it's not only they don't believe that they can get better, they have other priorities quite often. And this is true of the human being in general. We're not talking about people with aphasia, although we are. Okay? Just with the two examples that we had about you with your walking and with your talking, okay? This is a problem that plagues mankind. That they believe a certain thing and then they never accomplish or achieve what they are actually capable of becoming. Because of programming from other people, and then repeating that idea up here.
And that's why I first said the sky is not the limit, your brain is. Your brain limits you.
No, it's not your brain that limits you. It's your thinking that limits you.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay? Now, there are when you have a damaged brain, okay, it affects certain parts of your body. That's understood. It prevents. There are some people who just can't walk no matter what they think. Okay? But they're coming up with ideas and robotics right now that they're putting people in these things and they can walk. Okay, so there's all kinds of possibilities. You know what I mean? Okay, so what happens is when you have a fixed belief, that becomes your character. Not your character, it just becomes you. And then you believe that you can't change you. But you can change you when you identify what you want. You get what?
Specifically.
Yes. And you find a mentor who knows how to get there. You know, it's like driving into a town before you had a GPS, okay? And you needed to get to Main Street and you were lost. So what'd you do? You went up to a guy on the street and you say, hey, can you tell me how to get to Main Street? And the guy would say, yeah. You go down to the street light there and you make a left and then it's right there, okay? So the mentor knows how to get there, knows how to help you get there, shows you how to get there, and then you go, okay. And then you know how to get there.
Well, I'm incredible. You know, I never thought. I just want to have it. You believe it or not, Mark. I like to do about a 50-minute or whatever Q&A and see if anybody has any questions for you.
Okay. Okay. Great.
So let me invite you, the audience. If you have a question for Mark Ittleman or myself, please put it in chat and I'll read it. And then I would like you to have an opportunity because of what Mark is explaining, telling us goes way beyond speech, language pathology. It applies to all facets, all areas of being human.
Yes, it does.
And it does.
Especially when you want to change something about yourself. And most people believe that they can't. Okay?
So why is this so difficult to change?
They don't know. They don't know how. They think that that's the way they are. If you think you're the black sheep of the family, you are the black sheep of the family. And everything you do is going to reflect that.
We become what we think about.
That's it. But most people don't think they can change. But there are methods out there.
Okay, but let's talk about how we get the family involved, because I'm thinking this one sister I know has terrible aphasia, but every morning she's bought coffee and donuts and sat in front of the computer all day long. Doesn't work up speech.
Look, we can't do anything for anybody unless they want to, okay? A family is either supportive or not supportive. They're either interested or not interested, okay? What I used to think as a beginning therapist was I used to walk around and, try to get the families to do what I needed, what I knew they needed to do. And they're just family members are the same way we are. They have fixed beliefs too. Oh, they aren't going to get any better. I got a hell of a lot more other things that are important. Or a husband who says, I got to make money because my wife had a stroke and I got to make money so that we can live because she's not making an income anymore. Okay? And he's completely focused on that, on making money. Okay? So there's work that needs to be done within families to see if one can get a family member to help out. Now, the trick is, I figured out what the trick is. How to get a family member involved. What's the matter? Cat got your tongue?
No.
Are you going to ask me a question?
You know, Rebecca asked a question. I'm not sure I totally understand your question, Rebecca. But Rebecca asked, could you make a recommendation, a guide to help with making a timeline to accomplish goals? Can you make it?
Well, here's the thing. I would recommend that you start out with one goal. Make it simple, okay? Timelines are schmine lines, okay? That's not necessary. What's necessary is identifying what your what the goal you want is. That's number one. Identifying it. Okay? Number two, asking yourself, what is preventing me from having this? What is my thinking? What is it that I'm thinking that prevents me from walking every day for an hour? Okay? What is it that I'm going to have to do in order to make this goal a reality? Well, walk. Well, how long? Well, when? What I would do is, instead of a timeline, I'd get a calendar with times on it, and say, okay, every night I'm going to bed at 9 o'clock. Every day I'm going to walk at this time. Now, you got to repeat that every day. You have to repeat what it is that you want to do and when you're going to do, because we forget things. How often do we get a goal and we say, oh, this is what we want to do, and we start today, but tomorrow we forget about it, or the next day we forget about it? It's because we don't keep it at the forefront of our minds.
Because something else has gotten in the way.
Yeah, that's why you need an appointment book. An appointment with yourself. Okay? That at this time, I'm going to devote to the stroke show. This time, I'm going to walk. And I'm going to walk with so-and-so. And I'm going to do this, 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 and this. And I'm going to do it maybe 3 times a day. And you put it in your scheduler. You can buy them at Walmart for $5. Less than the price of a hamburger. Now, that's what you got to do first. Don't worry about timeline, schmine line, okay? That's pie in the sky stuff. I'm taking it down to basics.
Mark, can I have you on my show again?
Yes. Yes.
It's coming down to running out of time, but I do want to say, well, how can people get a hold of you?
Okay. Okay, what they can do is they can contact me at Talk with Mark. I'm going to write it and hold it up to the camera. Talk with Mark, #1 at Gmail. Now I'm going to hold it up. Let's see. Talk.
It's Talk with Mark at gmail.com.
No. It's Talk with Mark 1 at Gmail. This is the one over here. Talk with Mark 1 and there's no periods, and it's all together. There are no spaces. talkwithmark1@gmail.com.
All right. What is your web address? What's your website address?
teachingoftalking.com. I'll write that, okay?
Are you currently redoing your website? Is it under construction?
Yes, I am. But there's a box there that if you put in your name and your email address, I'll send you whatever information you want on any subject. And if you want to speak to me, okay, you can do that too. You can let me know that you want to speak to me by either sending me an email or going to the website, putting your name and email address on that. And that'll put you on our list because we send out videos and emails to you every week about some subject about speech and behavior.
So what is your vision for 2019? In closing, what is your vision? You did a video and I shared it.
Okay. My vision for 2019 is going to be the year for better talking. Now, I committed to that, and now I'm redoing everything. I'm redoing my website. I'm redoing my book. I'm redoing my training course. Okay? I'm completely redoing it because I set this I set this goal that 2019 was going to be the year of better talking. That I was going to take what I did in the last couple of years and say, look, yeah, that's good. But now it's time to step up to a higher level, to a more committed level. I've learned a lot just in the last couple of years, okay, that I want to put in place. And that's why books have new additions to them. New additions, new knowledge.
New book of yours coming out. I can't wait. Because of the goal you said you're going to have you're going to have to write a new book.
Yeah. 2 new books.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to do 2 this year, but I know I'll do 1.
Well,
one of them will be on dysarthria training.
Yeah, I know some people could use help. But okay, we get your email, we get your website addresses, and we need to. We're at the end of the show. So anything you'd like to tell people?
Yeah, one other thing. Okay, so here's the website, Teaching of Talking.
Put links below.
.com. Okay, yeah, we'll put yeah. If there's one thing you wanted to wrap everything up into one statement, the one statement is what would happen to think about something you want. Constantly think about what you want. And it doesn't just have to be one thing. Okay? See, we go to sleep and we forget thinking about goals. We forget thinking about what we want. And then it's just the same old, okay? That's the way a lot of people live. Same old, okay? But what I'm introducing here is think about something you want, okay? Then ask yourself, what's preventing me from getting it? Okay?
And once you identify what's preventing you from getting it, what do you do with that?
Then you say, well, I think I can't, or I've been told I can't, or I don't have enough money, or I don't have enough time, or I'm already so busy with so many other things. You see what I mean? that prevents forward movement. Okay?
I'm guilty.
We're all guilty of it. We're all guilty of it. Okay? So I have a list of like 12 things that I'm changing about me this year. Okay? And it can be pretty quick too. Once you give a directive to your brain that's specific and scheduling and repeating the idea over and over.
That is what my mentor meant intent. He said you need to be intentful in your purpose. You need to be that.
Well, you just need to know what you want. Well, let's just be clear on that. Let's make it simpler. Know what you want. Ask yourself what's preventing you from doing it. Okay? Then, if I were to start doing this today, how would I start off? What would I do today if this was going to be my new goal? So if I want to talk better, maybe it's getting a therapist. If I want to walk, maybe it's scheduling a walk with my loved one. Okay? What can I do immediately today that will set me out on this new path? And then you schedule it, and then you make sure that you think about that every day, that you have it written down so that you can read it to yourself. I'm walking every day. I'm walking every day in the morning at 8 a.m. And I'm walking if it's raining. I'm walking if it's snowing. I'm walking, okay? I'm committed to walking. Or if it's in the house or anything like that, and you have your appointment book and you have what you're going to do and you have it scheduled. You have it scheduled. You have it scheduled. You keep a little appointment book. That's your appointment book with you. Not with the therapist, okay? You're going to turn into being your own therapist. You're going to turn into the person who's helping you achieve the goals that you want to achieve.
And isn't that really that comes down to us?
Yes. Here's the greatest quote, and I quoted that this week. A lot of people think that if they go to the speech therapist or they go, that they're going to be cured. It ain't true, because you got to do the work. You know, Dr. Van Riper, who is a famous speech pathologist, said that don't expect the therapist to do it for you. You got to do the work, and you got to be committed, and you just got to do it, because nobody else is going to do it for you. No one else will do it for you. You. I am responsible for who I am. I am responsible for what I do. I am responsible for what I eat. I am responsible for what I think. And whatever I decide I eat or think is what I become. So if it's okay to eat Cheetos and Milky Ways and Snicker bars and whatever else throughout the day, you will reflect that belief in your body. If I don't want to walk, I don't want to exercise, I don't want to do that, well, guess what? That's going to show up somewhere. And it's usually around your midsection, around your waist.
Well, Mark, boy, I feel like I could talk another hour without problem, but this time I'm gonna cut. Thank you so much,
Okay.
Mark. I'm looking forward to having you on my show again soon. I appreciate what you did.
Okay.
And I encourage any audience members out there to once, now the plan is, I will then now take this video, take it to my editing software, edit the video, and then upload it to YouTube, and then give it back to you to share amongst yourself. So please share Mark and I's video. Please like this video. Thank you for your time. But
Okay.
thank you, Mark. Mark, I cannot thank you enough. You excite me. Your enthusiasm and your passion, I love. And I thank you so much for being here, Mark.
Okay. Thanks, Aaron.
Bye.
Bye bye
Bye,
now.
Mark.